Today on Search and Restore, the guys hit the highway to pick up their next project, and this time what they find is a rusted out old GMC, a house full of mouths to feed, and a mom and dad who believe in paying it forward by providing a loving home for needy kids.
If you know a kid's been maybe mistreated, neglected, or abused, it's too hard not to look out and try to help those kids.
Our Give Back starts now. It's been an incredible first few months, as tens of thousands of applications have come in for our makeover project, and selecting our candidates hasn't been easy.
Welcome to Ohio.
Build number 2 takes our team across West Virginia into Meigs County and the Ohio river town of Pomeroy. This area was especially hit hard by the recession. Over 31% of families here live below poverty level, with a total of 13.5% unemployment.
On the way to Anthony and Cindy Rowe's place, pick up the next project. These people have given their lives. They've fostered parents and then adopted some kids. So it's kind of cool. They've given up their life to help other kids in need.
And in this modest A-frame, tucked up against the cool hills of southern Ohio, is not your typical family unit. Say hi to Anthony and Cindy and their children, all 8 of them.
My name's AJ Rowe, and I'm 18 years old.
My name's Amelia, and I'm 18 years old.
My name's Alyssa, and I'm 9 years old.
You're the smart one. You can't remember your name.
My name's Jesse, and I'm 11 years old.
Do we need name tags?
Yeah.
My name's Keisha, and I'm 16 years old. My name is Adriana, and I'm 15.
My name's Cody, and I'm 18 years old.
It's kind of hard to do it again.
My name's Kenneth, and I'm 12 years old. Do it again.
Anthony sent in his application with the modest request.
Like I said, this is my truck. I love my truck.
Fix up his daily driver. Nothing fancy. He just needs a reliable set of wheels that won't break down on him twice a month. But a guy sure can dream.
I like trucks that are jacked up, big wheels, and you know, like the step bars on the sides and the cool paint jobs and stuff. But when they start up and it's got that woof, 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 woof sound to it, that real deep hollow sound. I get in this and start it up, it doesn't sound cool. You know what I mean?
Can you make the sound?
It's like.
He's always been there for me. He's always worked really hard.
Think you're gonna keep him?
Yeah.
She ain't got no choice. I couldn't afford child support.
That's a good one.
What makes this couple special is they've opened up their hearts and their home to 5 children, 3 of them siblings, who years ago were in desperate need of a loving, caring home. Cindy herself grew up in a household with no less than 35 foster kids. So when the time came to give back, the Rows obliged. First as foster parents, then with the swing of a gavel, adoptions, one after another.
When we started doing foster care, we had a bunch of kids in and out of the homes and stuff. And first 2 we adopted was Adriana and Kenneth. And we had them for like 2 years in foster care. And when they said that the state was going to take permanency of them, I was like, man, I don't want to see them kids go anywhere. You know, I've had them 2 years, you know, so by then I'd become so bonded to them, I didn't want to watch them go anywhere. So we made sure we adopted them. And then
right before
second
it was
2
final.
little girls that we got, we had them for about, what, 2.5 years?
Yep.
And they came out as wards of the state, and we adopted them. The thing is, you can't always have that thing that's about me, me, me. You have to look outside of that and see that there's a kid. I mean, it's like any one of us wouldn't walk down the street, see a little 2-year-old sitting there on the street and not try to pick them up to help them if they were by themselves. It's the same thing with foster care. If you know a kid's been maybe mistreated, neglected, or abused, it's too hard not to look out and try to help those kids. My only regret is that with the family the size I have, I'm not able to do it anymore. But it was definitely fulfilling knowing that you're doing something for somebody else.
Cindy continues to give back by working for an Ohio State-sponsored nonprofit called the Children's Hunger Alliance. They coordinate with school systems and communities, providing free and nutritious meals to children from low-income families. Anthony, an ex-military man, works the 12-hour night shift as a corrections officer across the river in West Virginia.
Tim.
With a house full of kids and 2 full-time jobs, there's little time for mom and dad. They're givers, which makes them a perfect choice to receive our Search and Restore makeover. Coming up, with a Royal Purple build team assembled at the shop, Tim and Joe set the scene for the next 30 days. And what they find leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth.
No, it's not good. Northern truck.
So we'll get this baby back to the studio. Everybody's waiting to tear it down and get going on it. Pure V6 power right there. It won't turn them over!
It may be underpowered, but at least it still runs. Inside the shop, our Royal Purple build team anxiously awaits our latest project.
Here it is.
All right. What's wrong with the truck?
A little bit of everything. For one, it's got this really little motor in it.
Okay.
Need to fill this general area right here with another couple cylinders, I'm thinking.
Let's tear it all apart. We'll need the drivetrain out of this truck, and then you can have it to do your body work.
Awesome.
You may be on the right path. Anthony is going to be amazed when he gets his daily driver back, because he takes this thing to work every day, back and forth. Pretty rough drive until now.
For any truck driven on the snowy, icy roads of an Ohio winter, corrosion kills.
When we were on Ohio picking up the truck from the family, we started noticing more and more and more and more rust.
As they remove the bed liner, there's a brief glimmer of hope.
Yay! It's actually pretty solid.
But to know the true condition of this vehicle, they've got to get it up in the air.
We're going to continue tearing it down on the lift so we can get it up and start unbolting stuff underneath, get the motor and tranny out. You know where people learn how to do this? By watching Ian's show.
Tim making fun of my show. He'll go wheeling. He'll learn.
Our gang quickly attacks the underside of the half-ton, only to find corrosion everywhere.
Oh, it's a mess. Pretty much everything you touch makes a big cloud of dust from dirt, rust. This truck's been through a lot.
It's like my wife's cooking.
But amongst all the rust and dust is the thought of our #1 priority, Anthony.
Here is a guy who's living as an example of how we would like to live. Let's help this guy out. He's always doing something for everyone else but never himself. Let's get back to him.
Fender well bolts. Make sure we label them so you know where they go.
Give a little wiggle.
It's gonna get heavy.
Let's pull the bed off. Take it over there. This is why we're getting a new bed. Look at all that. Got the bed off in the back, and we noticed that all the body braces and the bottom of the floor pan was all gone too. You could grab them and just break them with your hands, so we found a used bed today that should be here tomorrow.
And the frame, it's even in worse shape.
Pretty bad right there.
Frame's really, really rusty back there.
I would have expected to see this at the bottom of the ocean for 20 years before it came out. There was parts of the frame that were just not there.
Luckily, the front half of the GMC is in good shape, and after removing the engine, radiator, and the rest of the interior, the team can take a little time to reflect on their involvement with Anthony's restoration.
You know, Anthony's story is not unique. There are hundreds of thousands of Anthonys, and what makes those people so special is they're still giving back, they're still part of their community. That is an inspiration.
Next on Search and Restore, making what's old look new again. Plus, we'll meet this pro football player turned fabricator.
When I heard Anthony's story, I felt compelled to close my shop and come here and donate my time and effort and skill.
Awesome. Wow, Chris gets to do body work on this build.
That's the best one they had.
Day 2 of our GMC build, and the parts are rolling in. Some new, some salvage.
We found a really good bed at a local salvage yard. We sent Chris out to get it. He picked what he thought was the best one. He got a really good rust-free bed. This one's a little beat up on the one side, so Chris gets to learn body work tomorrow.
But for Tim and the crew, waiting till tomorrow is not an option.
Our overall goal is to give Anthony the best truck that we can in the short amount of time that we got it. We could have just sprayed some bed liner stuff on the bottom of that, made it look okay, but it would have started rusting worse again. And just little bitty imperfections that probably would have almost primed out on this side, but I want to make sure that it's nice and straight. Top of these rails had a whole bunch of dents on them, so I'm just going to put a quick, easy little skim down the side of this.
While Tim sands the bed, Eli Sweets works on the body.
Cardboard, sheet metal, punishing hammer. We're ready to rock and roll. I'm just gonna mark this cab corner here. I'm gonna use this cardboard to make a template. Easy. Then I'm gonna go over to the punishing hammer, make a crease in my sheet metal, and then by hand I'll fold it over.
When the call went out for volunteers, this fabricator shut down his hot rod and cycle shop in Maryland and drove in to help.
How's it going, Sweets?
What's going on, baby?
Holy cow, look at that. Woo! We gonna chrome plate that?
When he's not on his drag bike, he builds one-of-a-kind custom choppers and hot rods. Sweets brings tons of energy and compassion to Anthony's restoration.
Whenever you open your household and share love with children, it doesn't matter if it's your children or children you adopt or foster care, the greatest gift you can give to a child is to open your house. So I love them.
Meanwhile, it's time to tear down the old transmission. And Ian likes what he sees.
Just a little bit of clutch material in it, but I don't expect to see anything really burned up. It's actually not bad for 200 and some odd thousand miles. Into the cleaner.
For 20 minutes, the parts are cleaned of dirt, grime, and grease.
That's a delivery, homeboy.
The fact that we're going to be running Royal Purple Max ATF synthetic fluid will also help keep the transmission running at optimum temperature no matter how hard this guy works this rig.
Shiny and pretty it is, after a coat of Duplicolor cast coat iron paint.
I can set this transmission up to basically break his neck every time it shifts. I can set it up to be a little bit firmer, or we can set it up as stock.
Just a little bit firmer.
A little bit firmer?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, I like to go a little bit firmer than stock because then the clutches don't wear out as fast, and then we'll just run with it from there. There's 6 we leave out. 8.
Next, out with the old, in with the new, as the transformation of Anthony's GMC continues. Stay tuned.
To nominate a worthy candidate, to donate, or to volunteer, log on to searchandrestoretv.com.
A special delivery kicks off day 3 of our daily driver redo. We picked up this rust-free junkyard frame that build leader Tim Strange will make look like new in a few hours' time.
It's very important. It bites into the bare metal and gives a good base for the paint to stick to. If you just paint over bare metal, it's going to flake off. It'll rust through. Then we use some single stage PPG shiny black on it, so it'll look really good. When it gets it muddy, it'll wash off really good.
Multiple layers of clear coat will provide gloss and protection.
It looks like a brand new frame. Actually, it looks better than a brand new frame in there because they were satin black original, and now it's shiny.
Donations from aftermarket companies like LMC Truck make this build possible. And one of their cowl induction hoods will give Anthony's a high-performance look.
It's like something Batman would put on his Batmobile.
I think it's lovely.
The hood looks great. Like, as much as they packed it, it looks really straight. I don't think it's going to take much to get it ready for paint. A light scuffing and you're good to go.
The guys determined it would have taken about 20 hours of labor to get the original doors ready for paint. So instead, Tommy knew a guy who got us a clean junkyard set for $300.
Much better.
Oh yeah, this is like brand new compared to the other door.
Yeah, look at the drain holes, perfect.
I need some help with this other door. Quit bumping your gums, let's roll.
Even after 250,000 miles, the guts of the old transfer case still look good, with no signs of wear or damage. A quick coat of paint, and back together she goes.
roof down and see where the dents were. Sanded behind the bed, make sure that it's nice and straight. The cab corners, we sanded them down. We just like to put our touch on this truck and make sure it's as perfect as we can make it. A lot of it's feel. I go with feel. Kind of watch your sandpaper, your motion, your light pressure of DA in it. Milestone's real honored to get the opportunity to come to Search and Restore and actually give back to somebody that helps a lot through his life and gives back to other people in need.
Chris and I were working on tearing down the control arms to put in the new bushings and ball joints. And the rivets to hold the original ball joints in were not giving away. We started with the grinder and then the press and the air hammer and the torch, and the best way was to take a cutoff wheel and make a little waffle pattern in the top of the rivet. If you just go with the air hammer, there's a lot of resistance. You know, it's kind of pushing Chris who's holding it across the shop with it, but if you do those relief cuts, it comes right off, and then we pressed them out with a bolt as our guide.
Next, Liz tackles the much easier task of fitting up some bushwhacker cutout flares. These, combined with a 3-inch lift, will open up the wheel well to fit a set of 35s. From a tired, rusted workhorse to a torn-apart shell, Anthony's 1500 began a major transformation this week. Inside the paint booth, as the larger pieces are primed, the progress is visible.
Yeah, this is going to be a daily driver this guy's going to drive, but I still want the paint just to be as slick on this as somebody that would take it to a show. When we get it all done, it'll look like an awesome truck with a custom paint, lift kit, and a new set of keys.
Next time on Search and Restore, donated parts keep rolling in, bodywork seems never-ending, and Anthony's better-than-new frame becomes a rolling chassis with V8 power.
Oh, tag me in! Tag me in! Tag me in! Yeah, I'll stand on it!